Hello and welcome to the Bel-E Scratch podcast. I'm your host, Bel-E.
And I'm your co-host, Scratch.
And today, hang on, I forgot something.
It's winter, yo. It's winter.
I gotta have my pen for apparently they call it stimming now, stimulation.
Stimming?
Stimming, yeah. I thought it was a drug. It's not. Well, I guess you could classify it.
Sounds less.
Yeah, it sounds a little bit. Yeah, apparently, and also, the current term is now neurodivergent. There's now
Neurodivergent.
and neurodivergent.
Oh, this is fantastic. This is exactly what I was talking about before we hit the button.
What?
I love this.
What do you mean?
Neurodivergent. I'm sorry I interrupted.
Okay.
Go.
I'm still a little blitzed. For the past 3.5 hours, I basically checked out, but we might get to the reason why. So,
for legal reasons, this is a joke.
For legal reasons,
what happened to your thumper there?
What? Dude, I'm in the middle.
Is it working?
Yeah, it's working.
Neurodivergent.
Do you want to hear this the entire time?
Doesn't bother me.
Ah.
I used to set people off with a pen.
Oh, I know. I love doing it too. It's like you're talking to a lawyer or someone you're negotiating and you're not getting your way and you just stop talking and do this the whole time. You just don't talk, just do this.
There are better pens for that, but that's not a bad one.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I need like...
Oh, man. I can make a pen smoke.
Uh-huh. I need like one of those $60, $70 aristocratic pens that are made from like whalebone and goat blood for ink.
Guys, get me a cheap one. I'll bring it in there.
And just break it in 3 seconds doing that. So
I'll have you vaping some
some squid ink. Vape some squid ink, yo. Anyway,
some polymer plastic. I'll smoke that thing down, baby.
Anyway.
What's so cool is most people will just go, hey, or they'll
be like, hey, man.
They'll give you like a verbal cue.
Yeah.
And some people will look at you, and of course you see them out of the corner of your eye, and you ignore them.
Yeah, you ignore those.
You ignore them, right?
Fuck them.
All right, and then there are those, and these are really not the ones I'm trying to irritate.
No,
because they are my friends.
Yes,
but
they're the only
ones that can lean over and put their hand on my hand and go, "Hey, man, can you knock it off?"
Yeah,
okay.
They're the only ones allowed to do that.
If a stranger touches me, then I'm gonna hit him with a chair.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
it's gonna be WWF all up in here.
Oh yeah, that old school WWF.
That's right.
So this is exactly what I'm talking about. There's like now. Here's the thing in the whole thing with the George Carlin-ism is what I'm calling it.
Sure.
Where certain terms, which in the past...
Oh, this is fantastic. I love it. Keep going.
Dude, stop stretching.
Oh,
Anyway, so... Where established terms for certain things, places, nouns...
Yes.
People, places, and things, just words, become elongated and softened... like he in his infamous, not infamous. I guess infamous for some.
I think it's
circles.
Fantastic. It's one of the.
He talks about
one of the greatest observations of human behavior I've ever.
Yeah, and he
seen in pop culture.
And he perfectly encapsulated it by going, during the First World War, which I'm sure this existed prior to World War I.
I guess the arrival of artillery.
Yeah, whatever. I guess the artillery made it worse. He called it shell shock. That was the first...
Because it was with, 1,800 ship cannons. It'd be like, ball shock.
Yeah, I guess. But,
anyway.
Basically, the original name... I guess the original, most widely accepted name in the past for PTSD was shell shock.
That's my understanding.
2 words, no syllables, two syllables, no hyphens, 2 distinct syllables. And then it transitioned, then it got upgraded, there's more than...
Shell shock.
Shell shock.
There's that hard shell shock.
And
there's that hard consonant K on that back end.
It let you know immediately that this was not something to be fucking around with.
It's ingrained in your brain.
Yes. And then...
Shell shock.
I don't remember all of the terms that evolved into, but eventually it wound its way from shell shock to post-traumatic stress disorder.
Yeah, I remember that.
Now it's just PTSD, which I I personally like PTSD better because it's shorter, 4 syllables. It's like going back to that shell shock, but, there's less syllables.
You know what?
What?
I think it has
more syllables?
I think it has something to do with we have more paper today.
Probably.
They had to be a little more abbreviated in their messages and information.
Sure, I don't know. But it's the difference between post-traumatic stress disorder versus PTSD, I'll take PTSD because it sounds more serious, just like shell shock.
Yeah.
Even though it's the exact same term, albeit slightly upgraded.
Yeah, I mean, well, I guess
I'm still mad at the psychology DMSO or whatever the fuck it's called. The Bible for psychology, whatever the hell it's called.
I know what you're talking about.
Whatever the hell that's called.
Yeah.
Its official title. I'm still pissed off from that time I took a class in psychology from someone who had just been awarded her doctorate. I mean, just awarded it, like a week prior.
Could you tolerate her?
No, she was a fantastic teacher.
That's the best.
She's a fantastic teacher. She just gotten her doctorate.
That's awesome.
Like, her dissertation went through, she got the piece of paper, she was officially
she didn't turn into Mary Mother of Christ.
No.
Oh, that's fantastic.
I mean, I gotta
learn from someone like that.
Oh, sure. I'm sure that Mary Mother of God status of doctorate, that comes later.
For some reason, they have it before they get the doctorate. The worst.
I get it. No, I get it. No, I'm just saying that, maybe she was just still in shock, and then once the shock wears off, then she would have been like, I am Jesus, God Almighty of this classroom. Whatever. Anyway. And not only was Aspergers Syndrome completely phased out. I mean, some people are like, it was invented by a Nazi doctor who said that the autistic people he deemed, fit for public consumption lived. And it's like, okay. They should have called it something
soft, like, I don't know, sherbet cotton.
Something. I don't know. But that's basically the reason why.
Aspergers.
Yeah, but that's basically why. Because here's the thing: there are two.
Yeah, go ahead.
There are two, to my knowledge, and I'm sure there's more. This just happened in recent memory, where diseases and/or conditions that were discovered by either scientists who worked with the sideways Buddhist symbol people.
Oh.
Because that's what that symbol used to mean before they got their hands on it. It was Buddhist.
Yeah.
I mean, it transcends other... it's other cultures, but that's what it's predominantly known for. You can
even find it in the North American West.
Exactly. So that symbol is ancient. They just warped it for their own purposes. Anyway.
Right.
So, the inverted Buddhist symbol people...
Right.
I gotta think of a better name, but I'm not in the right headspace for it, so...
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah. So, either the scientists that worked with them, or they were basically captured and forced to work with them, doesn't matter. Now, here's something that's... It's something that I don't like to talk about it, because...
Oh.
This is something I don't like to talk about with a lot of people, because people tend to get weird.
Well,
or they like to interject their own little opinions into it.
It's just the two of us.
I know. I get it. But here's the thing. Now, throughout history, there have always been science experiments.
Sure.
Testing the human condition. Like, before they were able to dissect people, they dissected pigs and garnered human anatomy from that.
Sure.
Be it for moral or religious purposes, they just didn't dissect people and just assumed that we operated the same way as animals around us.
I mean, I think as
that
science advanced, we began to turn away from
doing stuff like that.
The idea that we're the same as that.
Oh yeah. To a point. I mean,
sure.
Evolution, the line of evolution, I mean, not the whole survival of the fittest, which is true, but that's not what I'm talking about right now.
Whatever the change of transition was.
Oh, of course. It's just, it's societal, it's cultural, we live in a society, insert there. So, here's the thing.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, they very clearly dress all of the camping that went on in the 1940s as complete atrocities, and they are. Make no mistake, I am not advocating for it. However, you can't help but notice, now, while this was a complete, unadmonished atrocity, there was an awful lot of medical, health-related, and scientific things that just so happened to get brought about a couple of years to a couple of decades after the fact. Almost like these scientists who are either for or against the Buddhist symbol people.
Wait a minute. You trying to get into some tinfoil hat stuff here in a minute?
I don't know why this is tinfoil hat.
I don't either. Because it's true.
I know. I'm just saying that if you think about it. This isn't a conspiracy theory. This is something that logically it would be true. It has to be true because why would
basically what they did during the investigation, of course, they're going to have our experts look at the trials at Nuremberg.
Yes.
Trials at Nuremberg, of course, they were going to have experts look at all the data that was generated.
Because they could not do that.
Because they couldn't not do that.
Yes.
And because of the, I would imagine, the spitballing here.
Yeah.
I would imagine the extreme nature.
Extreme.
You have, I mean, they gleaned information from it.
Sure.
And applied it to other stuff.
Yeah.
Let's do that. Okay.
Look, I don't know why this is considered a tinfoil hat thing because, I mean, think about it.
Well,
think about it.
The tinfoil hat comes from pointing a finger at who people we should hold responsible for the transition of that information.
No. That's not what I'm getting at. I mean, granted that would be.
Then that's not tinfoil hat stuff.
Okay.
That's what the tinfoil hat stuff is.
Yeah, I'm not pointing a finger at who is to blame for the dissemination of the information or who hid it.
I know how it got out. That was the official story.
Sure. I just mean what some people, they just for some reason will not talk about, even if the subject gets brought up. I don't mean someone to just spring this into, like you're at a party, talk someone in, it's like, oh, by the way, these people, I don't mean that.
Then when they cut off Sylvester's foot and put it in a jar.
Yeah, exactly. You don't start a conversation with that.
Not in this town.
Not in this town. No, I'm just saying you give a bunch of scientists who, for reasons, moral, doesn't matter. You give a bunch of smart sciencey people, like...
Smart pants.
Unlimited test subjects, essentially, if they so chose.
Yeah,
no oversight. No one to hold them morally accountable.
All right.
What do you think is going to happen?
This is a fantastic dynamic.
Okay.
And here it is. The reason they were so able to, I guess, for lack of a better, well, I don't know, there doesn't need to be a better expression, commit atrocities against this other group of people.
Multiple groups of people.
Several multiple groups of people, is that they were able to fix in their minds that this other group was how, imagine 50 years ago when they did science experiments in North America, and how you get these products that are, not tested on animal subjects because it says not tested on animal subjects now because they used to test on
animals. Yes.
Non-human subjects.
Yes.
So basically what the dominant group was doing to the undergroup was they were experimenting on animals.
Yes.
So that is why they were able to push that envelope so far. It's very interesting. It's very interesting.
It's basically during these camping segments during the 1940s.
They want to believe...
They didn't believe these people were human.
Didn't believe these people were human. Because they want to believe that this is some kind of religious thing.
Not necessarily.
Although there is a connection,
sure,
which is something I don't want to get into right now.
But that ultimately is.
But it ultimately is what happened.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's why you cannot dehumanize
other people.
People on the street.
No, not people on the street.
Now, if you have a penchant for snatching kids, then I can dehumanize you and I can talk about you any way I want to.
Sure.
Okay, there are things.
There are exceptions to the rule. But for the most part...
That is the rule.
Yeah, that is the rule. But,
so...
Yeah, but this is why you don't dehumanize anybody.
So they dehumanized this other group of people, so it was gave
easier,
them it gave them mental license to commit these
atrocities. Sure.
War crimes.
Which kind of leads to today
or crimes against humanity.
Oh yeah.
Okay, what they did was against every other human being on the planet.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Because they did it to us.
Mm-hmm.
If we're all the same, then we're all the same. See what I'm saying?
Sure.
Yeah.
Which also feeds back into what I was talking about earlier about how, because this is now becoming a little bit more widespread about how, the scientists of the 1940s,
right,
quote unquote, discovered all of these conditions or sicknesses. There's I remember a couple of, Aspergers Syndrome was, founded by like a Dr. Asperger who, again, named
right. Whatever.
So, because he worked alongside these people who, it's kind of a hot topic button to name them, but whatever. So that terminology no longer exists because he was of this group of people, for better or for worse. I don't know the guy.
Is that why they did that?
Yes.
Oh, for crying out loud.
No, and it gets worse. There's actually like an actual disease. It's like some kind of autoimmune disease. I remember a couple years ago, there is a YouTube channel called Threadbanger, who mostly do a bunch of DIY stuff. I like them. And it was Rob and Connie on there. Rob somehow had this ultra rare disease. It was like Wagner's something.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Wagner's something.
I can't remember exactly.
Yeah, it was some kind of weird autoimmune disease that attacked the lungs and nervous system, I think. Right. I don't remember the details. All I know
can't remember either.
Yeah, but he almost died from it. And in that video, they talked about it, and they talked about how they changed it from Wagner's something to another term. Same condition. They changed the name because the guy that discovered it belonged to this particular group of individuals in the 1940s. Am I advocating for it? No.
No.
Do I agree with it? No. Do I disagree with it? Also no.
Okay.
Because here's the thing, on the one hand, I get it, but on the other hand, it's like, it's too easy to see the slippery slope of it, where, I don't know, let's just say, whoever is the particular ruling party, be it blue or red,
or purple,
whatever.
Yeah.
Or green.
Oh, wait, or green.
Or wait, that's an actual part. Never mind. Anyway.
No. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
There is a group of people in this country that are green, a group of people in this country that are purple, a group of people in the country are red.
Or blue. Yeah. So, who's to say that any particular party of sorts, red, blue, purple, green, whatever, orange, they come to power and go, okay, this thing was invented by a red party guy.
Yeah.
So we're going to change the name to fit our lens. Yeah. So on the one hand, it's like, man, fuck those people from the 1940s. But on the other hand, this can open the door for so many problems down the road.
Oh, it's crazy.
Yeah,
it's in motion.
Oh, I know it is. Which leads into what I started with, which is neurotypical and neurodivergent, which has now become the catch-all term. Granted, it's I guess you can define it as dividing, because it's literally the does not versus the does
Oh.
A neurotypical person is someone who has no...
It's about a difference between two brats.
Yeah.
One needs medication, the other needs to smack the ass.
Or something.
Or something.
I don't know.
There's a distinct...
There's a difference.
The behavior is similar, but if people would take a good look at it, that's what drives me bananas.
Yeah.
Just take a good look at it.
Yeah.
Okay?
Just look
There's
at it.
There's a difference between spoiled and can't help it.
Yeah, exactly.
Big difference.
So basically nowadays, a neurotypical person is someone who is like fully functioning. There's like no issues with their mental capacity in any way, shape, or form, which nowadays I don't even know what that looks like anymore.
Yeah.
And
everybody's so desperate to be different, they don't want to accept any label that could classify them as...
And yet. And neurodivergent is people who, they have mental disorders,
right.
Trauma, like actual trauma, that autism spectrum thing. Basically, that's neurodivergent. People who don't fit into the quote-unquote criteria of normal. Right. So it's like... I mean, I like the fact they're just two terms that I have to really give a shit about right now. You either are or you are not.
Right.
But on the other hand, again, it's that whole thing of, oh my God, you either are or you aren't. And who's to say the people that are not going to have a problem with the people who are not, and vice versa?
Well.
Because sociology, as we keep talking about, that's literally what everything is.
To enter, one leave.
Yeah.
It's always been this way.
I know. It's called sociology.
Called group dynamics.
Sociology.
Personally, I think it's a level of quote-unquote evolutionary type of
what do you mean?
Transition. Well, there's something about our species.
Yeah.
That drives us to improve.
Sure, yes.
That's how you get to the top of the food chain.
Yeah.
If you believe in transitioning from an animal. Some do, some don't. Not here to talk about that.
Yeah, that's not what we're talking about right now.
Even if you don't believe in that, transitioning from an animal, there still has been a progression of, let's call it, sociological evolution.
Yeah.
Okay, where groups have learned to coexist.
Sure.
And improve the place where they live.
Yeah. Progress is technically at the heart of human behavior.
Yeah, but what happens when you and it is truly progress, but I worry that a certain number of people have corrupted the term.
Oh, I have no doubt.
Because if you take a good look at the evolution of human history,
sure,
you can look back on, everybody goes, well, the document was written so long ago, it really wasn't meant today when people don't have muzzle loaders. Or, people back then didn't want to just marry a person of the opposite whatever. They would drag a donkey into camp and ask the priest to bless them so they could have kids. That's how far back human behavior goes that we have records of.
True.
Okay, so if we popped out into the middle of a field, or we transitioned from a lower life form, whatever
you want to call it.
Whatever you want to call it. We have progressed from then to now.
Correct.
Oh, chronologically.
Yes.
And we can look back on history and we can look at dynamics that caused improvement and dynamics that did not.
Correct.
And I think we are driven as a species to constantly be striving for certain traits.
Sure.
To be, there can be only one. It's kind of like a Highlander kind of thing going on.
Sure.
That's what it seems like, even though the population is spreading. I don't know whether it's just ideology. I don't know whether it's worldview. Unfortunately, regardless of what any bookworm,
yeah,
myself included,
indeed,
would say is that we just we seem to be all heading in, there's something about us, and we blame it on ideology. We blame it on something political or social or some kind of characteristics, tall people versus short people.
When the reality is,
we're just all the same.
It doesn't matter, folks. That was nihilistic. Anyway, that wasn't my intention. Yeah. Yeah, I know. Darkness imprisoning me.
Oh, no.
All that I see. Yeah, no. This
I don't think it's that bad.
Okay.
I hope not. I mean, it's easy to see that scenario. God knows I've studied it my entire record brain memory keeping life.
And what's so weird is that...
And I've watched it unfold in different directions.
And what's so weird is that... Here's the thing, if that whole sociology thing, that tribal mentality, is to an extent,
right?
Tribal doesn't automatically mean, obviously when people think tribal, they're thinking of like indigenous folk or tribal folk out in the rural, not even the rural, the wild,
outdoors,
the outdoors.
Yeah, that's all there is outdoors. There ain't no indoors.
Yeah. So, I don't mean tribal as in that. I just mean tribal as in you have a group of people, and they acknowledge each other as a group of people. They're in that group. And then they come across another group of people, and Group A goes, hey, there's Group B. They are not in Group A. Fuck Group B.
Yeah.
Fuck those people. Yeah.
There's been all kind of, one of my favorite situations. I love that, what was that episode of Star Trek? That had Frank Gorshin in it.
Oh my God, I love that
black
episode.
And white faces.
Yes. Which I think was
it's just like that.
Yeah, that's the entire point of the episode.
They
spent so long going after each other, despite the fact that their colors are flip-flopped. Then they get back to their supposed home world, and everyone's gone and dead. It doesn't, it didn't matter.
Yeah. We're running into that, and it's no longer just a pure, quote-unquote, racial dynamic. It's a social dynamic. It's a cultural dynamic.
Party affiliation dynamic.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah.
So...
Where the danger comes in is when it's just not just a matter... There's an element that I object to.
Sure.
Under any circumstances.
Yes.
Is that you feel that the person on the other side of the fence should disappear.
Yeah.
And in a painful way.
Yeah. That's I don't.
There's a whole lot of
shout
schadenfreude going on, and I'm not comfortable with that.
No, I get it.
I'm not. I don't think that's right.
No, I get it. No, because here's the thing. What's so weird is, let's see. Right now, I'm kind of witnessing this bizarre rise of spirituality, just in general.
In the culture, or in you?
I guess both.
Okay. Well, maybe now that
culture,
you've educated yourself and now you can see it.
Yes.
And do you think? Well, okay. Do you think that you've just been able to identify? Have you been able to identify it better, or do you really see an increase?
I do see an increase.
Cool. What's it look like?
Looks like a bunch of people. It looks like a combination of things, actually. Now, here's the thing. I've got a lot more reading to do, obviously. Like, here's the thing.
We all do.
Yeah, of course.
Of course.
So, here's the thing. There seems to be some sort of rise of spirituality, or at the very least, individualism to an extent. Definitely breaking off from the big collective to a bunch of smaller collectives, it does seem. Hence the people who, they want to quit their 9-to-5 office job and go have a fucking farm out in the middle of wherever.
Mm-hmm.
I guess you could swing that as spiritual, becoming closer to nature and away from the city, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
Not nomadic, agricultural.
Right.
Because there's a difference.
There is.
There's, nomadic, then there's agricultural, then rural, then urban, suburban, and
urban, yeah.
So these guys are, somewhere between nomad, agricultural, and rural.
Right.
Which is my preferred choice, but whatever. Right. So, And then I see a bunch of people who, there's like a steadily rising population of pagans in general. Like, generalization. Doesn't matter. Like, Wicca, Greek. Norse is getting real big.
Well, everybody can find each other now.
Exactly.
That's what the deal is.
No, I get it. And
it's just like I used to run into, I remember running into a couple people back years and years ago when I was still a teenager and in the church pretty heavily. And, I run into these people and they were talking about how many churches they'd been to in the last.
Yeah.
I've been to 15 churches and I can't find one that I like. And
that's where I am right now.
Well, it's a little bit different than that. I mean, what I'm saying, it was somebody that they were just, but they were just, I don't know, people, it's like people trying to lose weight and never do because they try this and they try that. And they try
they can't.
And they try that.
They can't find something to stick with.
Well, they can't because they're not going to stick with anything.
No, that's not me.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, there's a difference.
Exactly, no, I don't think that's you.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
There are people in this world that are like, I met, my son.
There are people who they don't want to stick with anything.
Don't want to stick with anything.
They just want to say they stuck with something.
Right.
And then there's folks kind of like me who's like, I don't agree with what you're talking about, so I'm going to go leave. Oh, I don't agree with you either. I'm going to go leave.
Right.
So.
I read an interesting article about 2 weeks ago.
How so?
It talked about how dangerous it was to have colleges mainly on one side of the political fence.
How so?
It was a very good article. It was very well written. I think it was, it must have been an orange crayon. No. The guy talked about, says if you never get into conversations with people you disagree with, or let me rephrase that disagree with you, you never grow intellectually.
I see what you mean. Okay, that does make sense then. Let's see. I've also seen like like this weird thing where I also keep seeing this weird aspect of people in the religion of T-posing leaving the church, but they keep like the words of God or Jesus with them. Like they've
stepped away from organized religion.
They stepped away from organized religion, but they still believe in the religion of T-posing.
Yes.
Which that's kind of that's kind of the camp that I'm in.
Right.
Yeah. And here's the thing. That's kind of where some of those pagan people are coming from. People who, for one reason or another, be it a good reason, be it a bad reason, or whatever, had been spurned by the organized religion twisting these words that are supposed to bring you peace, bring you salvation, and they've been, and in some cases, they've been twisted to push somebody else's.
Well, and sometimes, and I see a lot of this happening. I see those words that those individuals thinks are being twisted by the organized religion.
Sure.
And pushing them out. No, what they're listening to.
Sure.
Is people on the outside twisting those words and pulling them out.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, I see that too.
But the thing about it is, if they ever got, it's like spilling, it's like spilling something on your shirt and you can't wash it out.
Yeah.
Once it gets on you, it's on you.
Sure.
So I can remember I did a form of that, and I saw other people. I had a very good friend here that actually was a peer of my father, and
yes,
they had a daughter, and we dated a couple of times, went out, and when we came back to the East Coast, she was, I mean, one of our dates when you're in you're in the when you're in the particular subculture I was in the T-posing religion.
Yeah.
Church was a date.
Sure.
Sometimes.
It's kind of still the case.
Yeah. So that's how that's how we dated.
Sure. And then you come back to the East Coast.
And then when I came back to the East Coast as an adult with kids, I run into her, and she is a part of some, I don't know, some kind of pagan. I don't really want to call them a sect because that sounds more formal.
Like a coven of sorts?
Yeah.
Okay.
They might. It's so interesting because I've seen formal images of that in my life.
Yeah.
And interacted with
it. But this was like.
But they look like your D&D group, except they were all paganed up outside. I'm trying not to be. I'm not trying to mock these people. I'm not. Although my tone is it's going. I just can't deal with it. Okay, it was like watching a school play. There is. I can tell you about people in the T-posing religion. You're going to find those types of play acting people all over the place.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't make no difference what ideology you're involved in, what religion you're involved in, what culture, whatever. You are always going to have those people that are play acting because they're trying to fit in. They really think this is cool. Hey, my boyfriend cheated on me, so I'm going to bang his cousin. You know, that type of attitude where, fuck you over there, dude. You know, I'm doing this. Look how cool I am. You know, and she was involved in this, and it just got. I really had more of the humor that I'm expressing was related to her being involved in this group. Because she, like myself, had been involved, not to the level that I had, but she and myself had been involved in some situations. Like I said, I know there's a certain aspect of these people. There's a certain mystic aspect to this particular subgroup. They hate my butt for saying it, but it's true. I've seen some things. She saw a thing or two, and then she's out here play acting with these people in a field. And it just got all over me. I was like, what are you doing?
I don't know, man.
You know, I can understand. And I'm not saying there isn't any power to something like that.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, it's
even
like
Napoleon Hill in Think and Grow Rich, he talks about the mastermind. You become part of a group. You all develop that one mindset.
Sure.
And there is power in that.
Not only that, but we have discussed on this show that everyone is built different when it comes to these sort of matters, be it of secular or, in this case, spiritual matters.
They are.
Some people can kneel, put their hands together, and pray, and that's how they do their thing.
That's how they do
Some
their thing.
people, they need to start a bonfire and dance around it. Yeah.
Hey, breaking any laws? No.
Yeah.
No, that's your business.
Yeah. Some people, they're wired to... Like, that's their thing.
Right.
And everything in between and outside and the outliers.
But see, that's the whole thing in a nutshell right there.
Yeah.
You have to get past, if you are truly on a journey, you have to get past the flesh.
Yes.
You have to, we talked about, eat the meat and throw out the bones.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of things that's just a bone. There ain't no meat on it.
Sure.
And people will chew on that bone and chew on that bone all they want to, and it's not going to feed them because there ain't no meat on it.
Indeed.
And once you start not getting fed by this direction that you're headed in, then there's going to be problems.
Sure.
So you can play act all you want to. But you can't. Yeah. Some people can outrun it. Some people are pathological. So that's where these cult leader nuts come from.
Yeah, that's true.
It turns into a pathological thing, and they're like, "Hey, let's all go down to the store and buy some squeakers." Yeah, exactly. Make sure they're black with a Thor hammer on the side. Okay, you see what I'm saying? Because the spaceship's coming. So there are pathological people who grasp onto that and they fight to the top of that hill. They take the flag. Mm-hmm. Boom, I'm the guy.
Sure. Yeah. My philosophy is there's nothing wrong with dabbling because look, you need to see the other side of the fence anyway.
Some things.
Yeah.
Some things.
I don't mean extreme stuff like hoodoo and voodoo.
Well,
and whatnot.
no, see, that's the whole thing. See, you get groomed by certain groups.
Sure.
You know.
Sure.
So,
sure.
You know, that sort of thing.
Oh, I get it.
You know, they're friendly to you till you drop your guard and bang.
Yeah.
And they are designed exactly to do that.
Sure.
So you got to watch out for that.
No, I get it.
Watch out for that.
I get it. Yeah, it's just, I don't know. It's, again, sociology. But, I'm trying to remember something. Not to completely change subjects.
Neurodivergent.
You know, I can't remember.
Let's go back to the language thing.
No,
let's go back to the language thing.
No, it's just, I can't remember.
The whole shell shock, post-traumatic stress disorder.
I can't remember what I was trying to say about that, though, other than...
No, you were just saying how the language has changed. You know, it used to be a hard language, now it's soft.
Sure.
Although, you know, one could argue post-traumatic stress, post-traumatic, that means you're on the other side of it.
Sure.
So, you know, shell shock sounds really terminal and scary and final.
Well, for the most part, at least in this country, we really haven't had a concrete set of dealing with it. I
agree with that.
I had made an argument. It wasn't really an argument per se. It was basically more of like a philosophical observation I had with...
Okay. No, go ahead.
Okay. I had with my world lit teacher in college. What had happened was this was obviously an English teacher because I just announced it.
Right.
Here's the thing. There's nothing wrong with him. Then there wasn't. He was a good friend of mine. But here's the thing. He was better at doing stuff like world lit, talking about these broad subjects and bringing his experience to it.
Yeah.
Versus, say, like English 102, where you're still going over basic shit.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, some people have...
You can read the book at home.
Yeah.
I didn't come here to listen to you. Excuse me. I didn't pay to be in this room so you could read the book back to me.
Sure.
Okay. Give me a perspective.
Yes.
Give me a question about my perspective.
Yeah. And he was, in my opinion, he was better suited for, like, world lit.
That's an educator.
Yeah. Versus 102, where he basically he's been so far along that highly educated path. Because some people, they get to the point where they can't, they've gone so far into their quote-unquote craft or whatever it is, their trade, craft, art form,
right,
that they can't back up 5 or 6 steps and approach it again as a beginner. It's like you seeing these, it's like you at the gym seeing these really experienced guys basically using certain lifting techniques like cheating, which it's a lifting technique. I'm not demeaning something.
No, it's just what it's
using
called.
the momentum to...
It's cheating just means lifting with a very loose form.
Yeah. Because these
and
guys...
only really experienced lifters should use it.
Exactly. It's not demeaning. Cheating is not saying demeaning. It's just a loose form.
And if that makes a lifter angry for me to say that...
You're not a lifter.
You're not an experienced lifter.
No, you're not.
Okay, because experienced lifters understand why you need to be an experienced lifter.
To do that cheating form.
To that cheating and get results out of it.
Because here's the thing. Those people have already built that mind-muscle connection where they can throw a fucking javelin and work out their calf.
That is weird. I've seen...
You see what I mean?
I know that's an extreme, but I know
that's where they can do all this stupid shit, which on the outside looks like some stupid shit, but because they have honed their muscle-mind connection...
What is that?
Yeah.
Those are his flactoids.
Yeah, exactly.
What the fuck is a flactoid?
Yeah.
He lifted so hard this one way, they just discovered a new human body muscle.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's like, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's these people who... like, they're so experienced, they can basically triangulate a certain workout to hit this one Latin-named muscle inside your pec that I have no fucking idea what it's called because it's in Latin.
Yeah.
The fourth.
They established that pathway.
Yeah, the fourth deltoid.
Yeah, the fourth deltoid, the plactoid.
Yes. That's buff on them too.
The fourth deltoid.
The fourth deltoid.
That's awesome.
Anyway, but they take, and these inexperienced guys will flock to them being like, how do you look like that? But the experienced people only teaches them that cheating loose form when these younger guys haven't developed that mind-muscle connection.
Well,
the experienced bodybuilders...
Most of them do.
Yeah, most of them do.
I used to live with a guy, and cheating was his base style.
Yeah.
And some kid, I mean, he was built, but what people didn't realize, he trained these 3 kids.
Yeah.
They were like 15, 16, 17 years old, and they
yeah.
came in this gym. They asked him to train them. Oh, my God. I mean, these were babes, man. They hadn't developed the skeletal muscle. They hadn't developed any of the connective tissues. But what I didn't know about this cat, he'd been lifting like that for 20 years, and he was always injured. Always.
Always.
He smelled like, heat bomb.
Yeah, tiger balm.
Tiger bomb all the time.
Yeah.
He was a cool guy, but that's just the way he lived. I guess that's the way he's learned.
Yeah, it's basically that.
Yeah.
I'm not saying the senior professor was bad, good, or I'm not saying he's good or bad. He's just that type of guy where you have to meet him on his level.
Right.
He can't come down to your level.
Right.
And some people are designed that way. But basically, we had, and I may have talked about this on the podcast, we had basically gotten to like the Japanese World Lit portion of the World Lit.
Yeah.
So there was like this particular poem. It wasn't a haiku. I think it was like an actual poem or a short story, where it talked about the Japanese tea ceremony, and how historically, he's putting into context how, in the historical and cultural context, the reason why the tea ceremony, other than various Shinto religious beliefs, was so important. It had to do with the fact that Japan, for probably about 80 to 90% of its existence up until the modern centuries, was a warlike nation.
Yes. Yes.
If it wasn't fighting with Korea, if Japan,
they were like Asian Vikings.
Yeah,
okay?
Yeah.
They're just
basically,
they're warrior tribes.
Yeah,
Germans.
Vikings. Some parts of South America.
I
think the Mayans, but I'm not sure. Apaches.
Irish and South Bend.
Oof.
Tribe.
The Peaky Blinders. To an extent.
Anyway,
so here's the thing: if the then Japanese of several hundred centuries ago were not fighting with the Koreans of the several centuries ago, or the Chinese, or the Taiwanese, or whoever. Or the Australians, probably. I guarantee you ancient Japan fought the Aborigines in Australia at some point.
Who knows?
There's like this 1 or 2 battles where they fought, and were apparently scared the shit out of by the kangaroos and the alligators and shit, and they fucked back off to the island.
That would do it.
If the Japanese were not fighting with the Koreans or the Chinese or the whoever's on that particular side of the world, they were fighting with each other.
That's true.
Okay?
That's usually how it goes.
Yeah, that's like, again, the Germanic tribes, if they weren't fucking with other people, they were killing each other.
Right.
Baltic Coast people, Anglo-Saxons,
yeah.
Viking people, Vikings so-so. I don't.
It's kind of a collection.
Sure. I don't think Vikings fought each other, like, kill each other like the Anglo-Saxons.
I see what you're saying.
Obviously there was disputes and they
between
did
landowners,
fight, sure, and then they did fight, like clans probably fought each other like the Scottish, but it wasn't like, oh, hey, this entire province over here has a problem with this province way down here. They're going to come and fight and kill each other. It was probably, for the Vikings, it was probably more relegated to clan fights, land disputes, boat disputes, whatever.
I'd like to see the Japanese versus the Mongols. That'd be pretty cool. Anyway.
I don't know if I can stomach that.
Yeah.
So, Mongol people,
Right. Sure.
So, here's the thing. So, these are a warlike people.
Mm-hmm.
Still kind of are.
Right.
To an extent. they're very fierce, even to this day.
Yes.
So, the Japanese tea ceremonies, and this wasn't the only thing they had, but in that spirit of, because they were such a warlike people for so long, they realized at some point, hey, we can't just have our soldiers or the samurai or, whomever.
Right.
You can't be in that warrior mode all the time.
Right.
Because if, say, a samurai or whomever was in that warlike mode in a civilian populace and something were to pop off,
yeah,
that'd be a problem.
Sure.
Because you can't go hacking at the peasants.
It's like an early form of therapy.
Basically, or some kind of meditation.
They also respected people who
yes.
fought battles. I mean, if you were a soldier, you would get up into the upper class.
Yeah.
You could get up into the upper classes.
Upper class.
There was still a tier or two below that.
And in certain respects, they still had respect for their enemy and whatnot. Namakubi was a practice of ritualistically cutting off the head of, your opponent, like a samurai opponent or somebody. It was usually generals who got that treatment, and it was a trophy, but it was respect. But it was still a trophy.
Well, they were just basically, okay, I'm an aristocrat, and I don't want a common person cutting my head. I don't want to be remembered as getting my head cut off by a common person.
So I want, the enemy general
I want
to
a
do
name,
that. Yeah.
A name to take my life.
Exactly.
So I can be a part of his history.
Yes. Which means...
There's a difference between defeated in battle and chopped his head off.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah.
They thought they were living. Isn't that interesting? Both the generals coming up, they both think they're living their story. Then all of a sudden, one of them's living the other general's story.
Yeah. So, to an extent, yeah. So these tea
they added themselves to that other person's legend.
Exactly. So, essentially, these tea ceremonies and various other ritualistic practices would basically help transition from the warrior to the civilian. Yeah. And I had basically made the observation in class about how now obviously this is centuries of cultural evolution, which as this country in the North Americas don't really have that.
No.
Maybe in the future, but right now, no.
No. 200-300 years.
Yeah, maybe.
500 max.
Maybe.
Maybe.
But right now, no. So, these guys basically said, these people are valuable, and they can't be going around killing other people, so we need a way to turn that off.
Right.
So they can function like a normal human being again. Which means that they can flip that switch back on when it's necessary. So essentially, it's like a valuable tool to be put back in the toolbox when you're done with it, and then taken back out when you need it again. Versus in the North Americas, it's almost like, rather than the soldiers being used as a tool in the toolbox to put away when you don't need them anymore and then taken back out when you need it again, it's almost, they're more disposable.
They are here.
They are here. They're disposable. Meaning the fact that you came back alive was probably not to your benefit type of disposable. Because here's the thing, I've met many military folk.
Yeah.
Worked under one, artillery guy in the army, dated a combat medic. And now obviously the combat medic was mentally worse off than the artillery guy, because the artillery guy can't see the people he just turned into chunky salsa from 3,000 yards away, or 3,000 miles away.
Or whatever.
Whatever the distance is. Yeah. But that still does ring true about how disposable the men and women of the military are. Because...
Well, we're Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, there's not an out program for them.
No, I mean.
There's not like, there's nothing.
Not built into the culture.
It's not built into the culture. There is no, like, oh, hey, you just got out of the war zone. Okay, now you're gonna go to this building for like 3 to 6 months, and they're gonna try to help you integrate and get back into being a human being again. So you're gonna do that, and then you're gonna be civilian again, you see?
Right.
Like, there's nothing like that. So I basically just said that the military-industrial complexes treats people like disposable toothpicks, essentially. Which is not a revolutionary idea for college. However, I provided an example, too.
Right.
Forrest Gump.
Forrest Gump.
Forrest Gump. I remember as a kid...
He cooks good shrimp.
Oh, yeah. I remembered as a kid... This struck me even as a kid. It's the part where Forrest Gump is in Vietnam.
Vietnam.
The Nam. Anyway, so...
Right.
Even as a kid... The gravity... spoiler alert, in case for some reason you have not watched Forrest Gump. Yeah. Somehow...
If you're over the age of 6 months and you haven't seen Forrest Gump yet.
Yeah, if you have somehow not seen Forrest Gump, incredibly, this is a spoiler. Even as a kid, I think my first recognition of death as a child,
right?
Like the first time I realized death was a thing, was real,
right?
Was Forrest Gump.
Okay.
Because I understood, well, not just Forrest Gump's mama, although that did not help, but during the Vietnam, it was not lost on me that something had happened to Bubba when he was shot.
Right.
And he essentially had died in Forrest's arms. Because what had happened was the shot was... It was the guy playing Bubba. He was, shaking because the shock and the pain.
Right.
And then the camera slowly pans to Tom Hanks's face looking at his buddy with, narration going on. And then it hard cuts to him back on that bus stop. And he, even though Forrest is slow,
right.
He's talking with an incredibly thick Southern accent.
Well, actually, he got the accent from that kid.
Really?
They were trying to pin down.
Yeah.
Like that, his cadence. He got his cadence from that kid. You think the kid is copying his cadence? No, he's copying that kid's cadence.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
That was the way that kid talked.
Yeah.
And
he got the cadence from the kid. I mean the accent.
Right.
No, not the cadence.
Yeah, it's pretty
so. Which I thought was incredible. So
I thought he did a decent job.
Oh, yeah. I thought it was awesome. So what had happened was it hard cuts back to Forrest Gump on that bench. And even though up until this point you think, Forrest Gump, he's not fazed by anything. He has his ups and downs. Yes, he gets sad. But you look at this and go... all this just like water off a duck's back. That's kind of the impression you get through most of the film, that all this stuff happens to him, but he just keeps going. He keeps moving. Right. It's like I said, water off a duck's back. But when he talks about what happened to Bubba, and it hard cut this scene, I remember it so clearly ever since I was a kid. Mm-hmm. And it was two things I saw. I realized two things when I first saw it. And confirmed on repeat viewings. Yeah. It was Tom Hanks just looking into the distance, just very serious. He wasn't crying, he wasn't angry.
No.
He was just kind of had a 1,000-yard stare looking off into the street.
Very stoic.
Very stoic. And he goes, and he says something like, I don't want, and now... That's all I want to talk about.
Yeah, that's all I have to say about that.
That's all I have to say about that. Yeah. And he's very serious and very monotone when he says it.
Yeah.
And a couple seconds later, he just kind of snaps back into, him talking about going to the hospital afterwards. But that was the first time I realized that death was a thing.
Right.
And how seriously impacted he still was, even though, again, Forrest is like water off a duck's back. But, so seeing how affected he was affected by it, this is his friend, he had died in his arms, and it still affected him. And then I noticed Forrest Gump, he had his own version of the Japanese tea ceremony. He had his own way of integrating from the soldier to the civilian. Ping pong.
Ping pong.
Ping pong.
It gave him purpose.
It gave him purpose.
It took that war-like drive and turned it into competition.
Competition. It was a healthy way of coping.
He was still fighting the Chinese.
Yeah. He just did it a different way. Yeah. It was a healthy way for him to cope. He went
from a soldier to an ambassador.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it helped him move past it. Obviously not 100%, but it helped him get past the worst
of
it.
that cultural exchange that took back then, and there's all sorts of people.
Oh, yeah.
I remember some very strong criticism.
Of course.
From us, quote unquote, selling out to China. But anyway, it was that type of, that was a good backdrop.
Oh, yeah.
To go from warrior to ambassador.
Yeah.
So that was cool.
Yeah. So that was kind of my little philosophical observation in that whole thing. We don't have that, is basically what I'm trying to get at. There's no outpatient program, you see, for the military.
Yeah, because normally, I mean, most people... military does make a lot of people stronger, and it makes a lot of people weaker. I mean, that's...
Or, some things are stronger versus other things,
Yeah.
It's very off balance.
I don't want to... I think the standard... It's kind of like... Okay, the military back in the 40s was like pro football.
Yes.
Okay. A lot of people played soldier today. There's some serious combat. Not dismissing any of that.
Oh, no.
But it was a different type of person that was in the military 70 years ago.
Yes.
Nowadays,
people in the military make 70, TikToks, which are awesome.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that today is less. I'm just saying that...
I will say this.
And we have
go ahead.
No, we have the technology not to have to throw hundreds of thousands of millions of people at somebody.
Yeah, thank God.
But that does... I don't know. You got a big army that all you do is keep them. If you can feed them.
Yeah.
Gets rid of a lot of trouble.
Yeah. No, I'm not. No. I'm not. Here's the thing. I personally am anti-war, but I'm not anti-military.
No.
Like, I don't want war, but here's the thing. I don't agree we should fight, but that doesn't mean we shouldn't have that sword by our side.
Oh, yeah.
Does that make sense?
Makes sense.
If
you don't live by it, you don't die by it.
Exactly.
But you still got it.
But you still got it.
Why do you think they brought it up in the first place?
Indeed.
They didn't say you don't need a sword. It said live by it, die by it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it. But that doesn't mean
it didn't tell you not to have one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is not, it's less about like, ooh, killing the people we don't like, and more like, hey, don't fuck with me, okay?
Yeah.
So.
I'm not worth it.
Yeah.
Not worth your trouble.
Yeah, just because you're a pacifist doesn't mean you don't have a stick in your hand to ensure that. So.
And a lot of pacifists are some of the heaviest guarded people on this planet.
Exactly.
Anyway.
So. I strive to be like that.
So.
Crap, I had something to say. Yeah. The military people are insane. And I don't mean that.
You talking on TikTok?
Yes, I don't mean that as a slam. I mean, look, you have a bunch of people.
Whoa, what was it this week?
Okay, initially it was like, hang on. initially it was something like, they had some fucking private duct taped to a rolling chair, slingshot his ass down a hallway.
Right.
Into a waiting group of other privates, I'm assuming, set up like bowling pins. And the
were
kid
they
in the
sitting in chairs?
No, they were standing up.
Standing up.
And the kid in the duct tape to the chair was the bowling ball.
All right.
And whoever he hit fell down, like bowling. So they got human bowling, which is just fantastic. There was a particular video. Was talking about, I think it was the Fourth or Fifth Amendment that said that you do not have to allow military personnel in your house.
I think that's the Fourth.
Yeah, the Fourth. The Fourth Amendment is like, you cannot, it says you do not have to allow military personnel to live in your house. Right. Then it hard cuts to this guy's, and these guys are on the base. Hard cuts to his roommate. And the guy holding the camera says, "Get the fuck out!" His roommate screeches at the top of his lungs and runs headfirst through the door.
Okay.
There's shit like that. I saw a bunny get promoted to corporal.
All right.
Because apparently, I don't know how widespread this is, but if this is an established rule, I love it. Where, if a soldier has like a pet dog, cat, rabbit, whatever.
Yeah.
They have to promote that animal one level above him, one rank above him, because if word got out or if they find evidence of him or her, whatever,
right,
the pet owner abusing the animal, not only can they get, arrested for animal abuse charges, they could also get dishonorably discharged because they technically beat a superior officer.
Superior officer.
Yes.
I've
seen shit like that.
I think that's legit.
Oh yeah, I like it. I remember the latest one was like, I don't know where this took place, but there's the intercom, and this guy was at an intercom speaker.
Right.
He's got a bag of chips.
Yeah.
And he's like really close to the microphone, and he takes a chip. And he's like, into the intercom microphone. He gets like 2 or 3 chips in, just all. And the fucking staff sergeant walks into the room and he's like, knock that shit off.
See, that's clever.
Oh, yeah.
Not destructive.
No.
It's
not duct taping some poor, hapless private to use bowling ball.
Going out and getting drunk and,
Oh, no, there's that
pushing
too.
around. Well, I'm sure, and there always will be. There always will be.
Oh, yeah.
And alcohol doesn't have anything to do with it. Nothing.
No.
Well, we go back to what we talked about earlier. There's this group over here.
Yep.
There's this group over here.
Uh-huh.
And they're so similar.
Yeah.
But there's this transition.
Yeah.
Where then all of a sudden they're polar opposites. They want set to killing each other.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, here's the thing. I have learned a very harsh lesson. You don't make a combat medic do tequila shots. You just don't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've learned that. Don't do that, man.
So.
Yeah, those people need to stay away from tequila. You can give the mechanics tequila, and they'll fix your car.
Maybe. Probably throw you out.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway.
Don't give the combat medics, like, heavy amounts of alcohol. No tequila. So, no, I'm just saying I would like to casually party with these people. I mean casually.
Right.
Because clearly they're on a different level.
Well, I mean, obviously if you're in it's that whole, eat, drink, and be merry, for tomorrow we die.
Oh, yeah. I love that. Even though I know I'm not going to die, hopefully, tomorrow.
But I'm saying that it's that nihilism.
Nihilism?
Nihilism.
Yeah.
Nihilism. The Neil Sedakaism. Nihilism. I mean, that's the mindset they're in.
Oh, I know.
Okay.
They kind of have to be.
Well, I'm just saying, whether they have to be and then some people don't. Yeah, technically, yes, they do have to be. And some majority of people get in it and some don't. And,
sure.
I mean, how can you operate in that environment and be less?
I know.
Or let's not use the word less. Different. And not be different.
Oh, yeah.
You have to be. I mean, it's
I guess,
survival.
Yeah, I guess that also adds on to the PTSD aspect of it, where not only do you see and hear and etc. horrible things that happen around you or to you, but you also have to accept the thought of my next breath could be my last. And you have to stay in that frame of mind for a long-ass time.
As a lot of people have problems forgiving themselves.
Yeah.
Because they didn't go into it with the right
intentions. Sure.
To me, when it's life versus life, under any circumstances, you're allowed to. It's like your medic friend, talking about some interactions he had over in the Middle East.
Yeah.
Okay, that he is quote unquote scarred. I'm not questioning it. I'm not mocking it.
No.
I'm just saying, you only got a few choices. And I can tell you, everybody's got their level of trauma they got to go through. Well, mine's worse, and you don't understand. And no, yours is worse, and no, I don't understand. But understanding what you've gone through doesn't change my suggestion of how to get on the other side of it.
Correct.
Be functional.
Yeah.
Because who wants to be I've been miserable 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Sure.
Years.
It's not fun.
No, it's not fun. Okay, and whatever causes it. But, you have to be willing to accept the possibility. I think it's the hopelessness. There's the people think they're trapped in it, they can never get out of it. And I think once they give in, I think being hopeless is the worst frame of mind you can be in.
I agree.
I really do. Because you're just a walking corpse. Basically, and
which is unfortunate.
But you have to. It's kind of that whole thing about drug addicts. There's no program to get you off drugs until you want to get off drugs or off booze or
whatever
pills or whatever.
You have to want it.
Chocolate chip cookies.
Yeah, I'm facing that problem right now.
I love them.
Yeah, my problem is...
And I'm not trying to be glib about it.
No.
I'm just saying
that it is what it is.
It is what it is. I've been there. I've struggled with some things in my life. I think everybody does, and
that's life.
That's just life.
Yeah.
It's just life. So... Yeah,
there's no shame in getting knocked down, but you have to find the strength to pick yourself back up.
Well, you don't even have to get on your feet completely.
No. You just have to get up.
Just get up.
Yeah, that's the thing. You just gotta get back up. That's all. So.
I remember the night my father passed.
Oh, Jesus.
And I remember a series of events that sent me into the bathroom of this house we lived in for only 3 weeks at that time. And I remember watching the tears come out of my eyes in the mirror, and I just dropped to the floor and was crying with my head on the sink, and then all of a sudden I heard my father's booming voice, "Get up." And it kind of stung me, and I pulled up, and it didn't get any louder. It just went, "Get up." I got up, and it was a sad time for sure.
Well, no, it's your dad.
You got to get up.
Yeah.
Got to get up. That's all you got to do.
Yeah.
You don't have to win. You don't have to lose.
And
just get up.
Yeah, and healing and grieving is not, in my opinion, and, well, I guess that's kind of the opinion of the day.
Yeah.
It's not a linear process.
No.
Stuff like that, it can take people couple of days, maybe a couple weeks, couple months, maybe even a couple years or more to process it. I mean...
Took me about 20.
Yeah.
I remember it peaked around 20 years after it happened.
Sure.
Yeah.
But you do eventually get past it.
I mean, it was a climb down, too.
Sure. I mean...
You know.
Yeah. Obviously.
I fell off a cliff or two, but I had to climb back down off that mountain.
Sure.
Yeah, and it took me 20 years to climb it. Yeah, I understand. I do.
Yeah, like I said, you just have to you just have to get up.
Keep moving.
Yeah, keep moving.
Keep moving.
Man, I don't want to end on a dour note like that. I mean, I'm not being glib. It's just like, it's late at night. Why are we depressed? No, we're not depressed.
I'll tell you why we're depressed, because it's freaking black outside at 3:27 in the afternoon. That's what. Daylight savings time.
It's 8 o'clock.
That's what I'm saying. It's like it's midnight outside.
I know. I love it.
Well, I do too, but I don't want to see it at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, for God's sakes. All right. Hang on. Somewhat happy.
I'm trying to throw something out there and you wouldn't run with it.
No. Because I want to talk about my thing.
Oh, all right.
I want infinite money.
Okay.
So I can go to the South Carolina punk flea market.
Punk flea market.
Yeah. So I can go to the punk flea market and buy all of the things.
You have to buy your own house first, because I think all the stuff you want to buy, you're going to need more room.
No, I'm not going to get...
No, I know you're not going to do it, but you'd like to.
No, I'm not going to get the taxidermied stuff. That's not my thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's like this one booth that just sells like animal skulls and taxidermied stuff.
Right.
You know, in frames with butterflies and bats and other insects and various creatures in it. And I'm like, okay, I would get the butterfly ones with the big wings and the colorful patterns. Sure. I don't want a frame of a bat, because I like bats. You know, I like flying foxes. I think they're cute.
Yeah.
They look like my dog.
They do.
My dog looks like a flying fox.
Like a 60-pound flying fox.
With no wings.
No wings.
That would actually be creepier.
It would be.
So.
The griffin.
Oh, but, you know, it's like artwork. Like, they got some really spooky and really good artwork. It's just like... That's about as big as a door. I don't have anywhere to put it, and I don't have $700 in my back pocket to buy it.
See how bougie that stuff's getting?
Yes.
Oh, my Lord. It's getting so bougie. You used to be out. It's like Burning Man.
Yeah.
I got friends that went to Burning Man.
Yeah.
Well, Uncle LP and...
Sure.
And, you know, his sidekick, BM.
Yeah.
Oh, that's perfect. And, they went to Burning Man when Burning Man was Burning Man.
Really?
And then it got so big that it became so exclusive that they canceled it, because only rich white people could go, or rich people.
Yeah.
And it just happens to be 99.9% of them were non-minority. Landing jets out there, you know, and got away from the spirit of the debauchery. I mean, the pagan area or paganism,
whatever.
So, but yeah, I see that type of stuff happening, and
sure.
what I find, I always, and that sort of thing raises its head every few years.
What, the whole commercialization of spirituality?
Not just spirituality, but that whole.
Oh, that's what we were talking about.
Quote unquote alt culture. But yes, people. Well, look at what's going on. People are cashing in on that religion aspect of it.
Oh, I know.
They're proselytizing and pull people into their groups.
It's like I was talking about that a couple weeks ago, how basically, and this is another thing I keep noticing, how people are essentially, okay, whether you believe in it or you don't, all right. Tell me if this sounds familiar. The context is going to be different, but I bet you this is going to sound real familiar to you, Mr. Former Preacher Man, or former son of Preacher Man.
Yeah.
In the pagan community, there is a lot of hubbubaloo and a lot of arguments back and forth online about how, oh, you're not a real whatever witch, let's say witch, unless you have this crystal or this incense, or you do this thing.
This legalism entrenched in commercialism.
Legalism entrenched in commercialism.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not just for the religion of T-posing or anybody, or the other major religions. It's down to the itty-bitty stuff. And I'm like, this is some bull. You guys are operating just like the people that you say that you hate.
Mammon.
Yeah.
It's money.
Yeah. It's greed.
It's money that drives it.
Oh, I know.
See, years ago, people were so hardcore and fundamentalist and all that.
Yeah.
They didn't have no money. All they had was God. And that was it.
Yeah, that was it. Now,
that was it.
Now money's come into the equation. Yeah, it's this whole thing of you don't have to buy a tarot set. You just like throw leaves into the air and watch how they fall, and that's how you predict the future. And it's like the people of the past, they had what they had around them, which was technically true for all.
They're up there having a spellcaster battle.
Yeah.
Thunderbolt.
Yeah, and shit like that.
Thunderbolt. Yeah.
And shit
that's
like
what they're doing. But they're doing it with image.
Yes.
They're doing the same thing that when they say they don't want to be like these wealthy people. Yeah, they're doing the exact same thing. Okay, that's just their level.
This commodifying of spirituality and religion.
Yeah.
You know.
So
that's basically what's been going on and whatnot.
And it's going to get.
It comes and goes.
It comes and goes?
Yeah.
I think it's going to run for a little while.
Oh, it will. It is going to. People are going to hop on this train because it's trendy and not because they need it.
Oof. Yeah. Trendy.
Yeah, trendy. Yeah, right now it's trendy to have rocks.
Or a fad.
Yeah, fad.
It's a fad.
Right now it's trendy to have rocks. Right now it's trendy to... Shit. I just looked at my tapestry because I was about to say it's trendy to have multicolored tapestries, and I look on the side wall. And then there's my multicolored tapestry right there, and I'm like, shit. Sad part is I really like it.
It's nice.
Yeah, I don't have it because I just had to have it. I just have it because like that looks fucking cool.
Yeah, it does.
So
anyway.
But I don't have anything Grateful Dead.
Thank God.
Yeah, I'm not a deadhead. I'm just gonna tell people right.
I'll give them their due, and
I respect them. I respect them. They do sound good. It's not my scene.
Yeah, it's like those parrot heads with Jimmy Buffett. I mean,
oh jeez.
And ape shit.
What the fuck is with Jimmy Buffett fans?
I don't know.
Because here's
whatever it is, I'm sure. It has at least 3 times the legal limit of blood, alcohol in their blood.
It has to be alcohol, because here's the thing. I have heard more people talking shit from the Jimmy Buffett camp versus the Grateful Dead camp. You know why? The Jimmy Buffett people got alcohol.
Yeah.
The Grateful Dead people have the electrical lettuce.
And every other thing. They're all spooked out anyway.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
They're either pacified or spooked out to become a
and by the time
problem.
they come down enough to be
a problem.
To form a coherent paragraph.
Yeah.
they're no longer in the throes of their adventure.
I don't know.
So, yeah.
So, hey man, I'm not yeah, I know. Hey, I'm not unwilling to try a long but short journey.
Yeah. Well,
not anytime soon.
No.
But it's always been a curiosity. It's like, hey, what's the 5th dimension look like? Oh, by the way, speaking of the 5th dimension, real quick.
Yeah.
Have you heard of 5D chess?
5D?
5D chess.
No, but I'd like to.
All right, let's go to Steam. Woo! Fuck the autumn sale. They don't have anything good up. Anyway, 5D chess. Let's just look at the reviews for 5D chess. Oh, you have it. Oh, I spelled it wrong. chess with multiverse. Shit. Okay. Look at this dumb shit. It's like you make a move.
Right.
And then it will just branch off into separate realities where maybe you didn't move that piece. Maybe instead of the bishop, you moved a pawn, or you moved a queen.
Okay.
And then the opponent does the exact same thing, where maybe there's a timeline where they moved this pawn, or they castled, or...
Oh, we got to talk about this. Stuff like this.
Hang on.
The new metaverse.
Oh my God. Okay.
I got to take a look. You need to take a look at that and explain something to me.
Okay, hang on.
We'll get to that in a different show.
Okay, we need to look at the reviews of this. Okay. Alright, so some of the recommended reviews of 5D chess. I have found forbidden eldritch knowledge, and now I'm a girl.
Okay.
It can get ridiculously confusing, but it's worth it to see your friend's face when you win a game that they couldn't even comprehend.
Okay.
I can checkmate a king and a past and with a time-traveling queen while simultaneously attacking kings in other several multiverses. My brain may have exploded, but it's funny to watch the dragon go back in time and shit like that. It's like chess but pain. Chess but pain. Yes.
All right.
I was checked in 6
I thought chess with pain was like walking across the kitchen floor and stepping on a rook.
Apparently not. I don't own 5D chess because I am afraid.
Yeah, whatever.
It's chess using the multiverse, and no one knows how to play it.
Awesome.
It's apparently one of those games where
sounds awful. AI.
It probably is.
It's probably and you heard it here first, folks. Probably an AI monitoring algorithm. And there are particular patterns based on characteristics that people will move, pieces that they look at first, what they see as the next decision, just like how they can take your data from oh my God, Facebook got hacked, from a hack and tell who's going to be breaking up with their significant other in the next 14 months.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, that type of stuff.
Oh yeah.
You know.
Yeah, they're honing a predictive algorithm that's going to predict every impulse of humanity.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's basically going
to do it in real time.
And
the technology is going to get to a point where they're literally going to adjust what's going on around you.
And eventually they're going to hone it to where free will is no longer an option.
That is a possibility, yes.
That's nihilism right there. It's basically the TV show Dr. Hannibal Lecter bought.
But you can't allow people to believe, it's the whole red pill versus blue pill thing.
I'm done with that
Matrix
shit.
Thing.
Yeah, I'm done with that shit.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
They'll be able to, you think you're in a reality that's under your control.
But you're not.
But you're not.
Yeah. Yeah, this is why there's a bunch of stuff about how, alright, if there's a bunch of people out there who are just
I used to worry about when the deep fake technology came out. I thought, oh my God, they literally have the ability, because everybody's looking at the same phone.
Yeah. They
could control.
Yeah.
I mean, it goes.
They can set something up that's completely
once it goes AI, I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's crazy. It's like,
they can set something up that's completely fake. Yeah.
Plato's cave.
Yeah.
So whatever.
The Cave of Shadows thing. Yeah, I know.
Sure. Why not?
I don't know. It's just...
It'll just be digital.
Yeah. Apparently the secret to avoiding stuff like deepfakes and AI facial recognition is to wear Juggalo makeup, apparently.
Sorry.
I'm not fucking with you. That's a thing.
I can't stand it. All right.
I'm not, that's not a joke. That's a legitimate thing. Like, so there's people who, with
what about Ronald McDonald?
I don't know, there might be a study. Yeah, obviously there's people who are going to fight back against the system no matter what. No matter what.
Yeah.
So there was a bunch of people who their idea of fucking with AI recognition programs was basically was like painting their face a certain way to basically not look like a person, like draw on extra eyes or put your cheekbones on the top of your forehead and your lips on the left side of your face. You know, basically Picasso themselves to trick the AI program. And it would sort of work, sort of not work. But apparently one of the leading things to fuck with facial recognition software is Juggalo makeup. That is like one of the top 3 ways to not get recognized by that program.
So maybe The Purge could be like a makeup video.
Probably.
All right.
Like if there was a purge, there would be a shit ton of juggalos and juggalettes on the street.
Oh man.
They're not like actual juggalos and juggalettes. Probably.
Oh.
I don't know. Definitely.
I'll tell you what.
But definitely a bunch of people dressing up like them so they don't get caught the next day.
Before I get dressed up like one and get in the middle of them, you better make sure you're one, because they find you out.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
I don't want no part of that ass whooping.
Nope.
Yeah. No, thank you.
Like, I like
a biker.
Yeah, I like ICP all right. I'm not big enough to do that. But anyway.
No, but anyway. Frivolity.
Yeah.
Shall we go further?
I don't know.
Nah.
I got stuff.
That was well. I crushed this thing tonight.
I know you do. All right. All right, Mr. Time Cruncher.
Oh.
Mr. had
time blocker, show blocker.
Hey, I'm not the one that had the headache yesterday.
No, you're not. I know.
It's okay.
I'm not doing that again.
Yeah, it's all right.
Anyway.
I don't even know what you did, but don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that.
All right.
Hurts want to do this.
So stop doing it.
There you go.
All right.
That'll be $2, please.
Yep. Well, that's it, folks. I was your host, Bel-E.
And I was your co-host, Mr. Scratch.
And we'll see you guys next Tuesday. Goodbye.